Not for the first time in its long and troubled history, Belfast burned. In a city still divided by old peace walls, new enemy lines have been drawn.
I think our country should fight back whatever way they see fit. We're not being listened to.
We are the same blood in our body, the same blood, the same color.
The resentment and rage seen across the UK in recent years, fuelled here by Northern Ireland's complex legacy.
The one thing that marks this out as different from the rest of Britain and Ireland is that you have on the walls a celebration of past violence, of status that was achieved by using violence. And young people look at that and say, it's my turn now.
The rioting in June was triggered by this video of a knife attack by a black man on a white man, which quickly went viral. But if this was the spark, parts of Belfast were easily ignited, primed and ready to go.
So we knew that there was going to be violence coming, and that this was orchestrated by wider forces, I would say, paramilitary groups who operate here year after year with complete impunity. We've seen some leaflets that were made calling on people to come and disrupt, to stop the traffic in certain areas, calling on people to wear masks, and for residents to turn off their Ring doorbells and their dash cams.
Though the rioting was fierce, it was contained, predominantly to working class loyalist areas where migrants were known to be living. With the Protestant population declining, there are more empty properties there, and private rentals are often cheaper. A gang of 5 men tried to smash their way into this house where Kasim, not his real name, had been watching football with friends.
All I think about my family, what will happen to them? They will burn in the house. I mean, you know. Sorry.
Kasim fled Yemen to settle in Belfast with his wife and children. The youngest is just 4 months old. He works as a delivery driver while studying part-time for a postgraduate degree. The attack, he says, was not random.
They targeted migrants,
Yeah.
they targeted black and brown people.
Yeah. I mean, not even in the streets. Coming to the house, like they are organized or something. Didn't come here because, we want to live here or something, or we want to take their jobs or their benefit, as they said. We just come here like forcefully because of our country is in danger and in a war.
But this country at the moment is not peaceful for you either, is it? Doesn't feel it.
Actually, I had to say that, but actually, yes. Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, kind of,
The rioters were marshalled quickly. Calls to take to the streets on social media, amplified by Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson. 1 in 5 of those arrested was a child, the youngest just 12 years old. The Children's Commissioner of Northern Ireland said he's in no doubt they were being exploited by agitators, including paramilitaries.
I witnessed with my own eyes children, young people, teenagers being transported in and out of my community, a community that these people don't live in. So that's coercion, that's trafficking. This is trafficking people. I've certainly been alerted to instances where children or young people have been instructed to be there to service a debt.
The Commissioner told us he'd been sent death threats twice after speaking out against the violence. This street in East Belfast saw some of the worst disturbances. Today this migrant family are back to try to return home. We're told after an earlier altercation on the street with locals, police were called. What is really striking is how much fear there is here. The migrant families, obviously after what has happened, they are terrified. But the people who live here, who want them out, seem equally afraid. Off camera, they have plenty to say, unsubstantiated claims that foreigners, they don't work, they get the best houses, they get phones, they even get cars from the state. But they say they can't talk to us because the paramilitaries who still control this area won't like it. On one thing, they are absolutely clear, that if the migrant families are moved back in, the mobs of masked men will come for them again. There's no doubt attitudes towards immigration are hardening here. Polling from More in Common showed while the vast majority condemned the rioting, immigration is one of the biggest issues across all communities, and for the unionists, their number one concern.
People see change happening, which is challenging, and it feeds into the whole issue of around housing.
In North Belfast, we meet local Democratic Unionist politician Brian Kingston. He's painfully aware of treading a difficult path, deciphering what are legitimate concerns within his own community and what is out-and-out racism.
It is indisputable that immigration is a hot topic throughout the UK and Ireland and throughout Europe. So people have concerns when they see abuse of the asylum system, when they see uncontrolled immigration. People see the boats crossing the English Channel. Well, it gets more and more difficult to get social housing here, what would be council housing in England. The number of points people need to get, private rental properties. There's a high level of demand from migrant families for those. So that can feed into people's feeling of a grievance, but that in no way justifies any violence.
Mr. Kingston says he has also been threatened after publicly condemning the violence. In Portrush, about 90 minutes out of Belfast, a small but vocal anti-immigration protest. Like the migrants themselves, the talk here is of feeling unsafe.
We've had enough, we don't want them, they don't...
The threat from outsiders summed up by outsider Sarah White from Essex, a veteran of protests elsewhere in the UK. The message, the danger of alien cultures, backed by this young mum marching.
If you are coming over here to fit in with our law and our culture, I'm 100% for that. But I think it's been proven a lot of them they've shown that they're not with us, they're against us, and that's my view.
You talk about being safe for children. We saw families with children burned out of their homes. Do you think that is the wrong way to go about this?
I think our country should fight back whatever way they see fit. We're not being listened to, and we have to fight back. I'm not supporting violence, but I'm saying everyone has their own way of doing it. I don't go out and do that myself, but
you don't disapprove of people who do?
It's different situations. It's a hard one for me to answer that.
Why are people so unhappy about it?
Well, there's people been raped. There's people, this is all happening here. It hasn't happened before. These guys are capable of this.
I mean, Northern Ireland has always had, or very recently, one of the highest levels of domestic violence long before the migrants have arrived.
But not with paedophiles and rapists like what's happening now, I think.
These ones coming here, getting a 4-star hotel, getting £50 or £60 a week spending money, getting their wee cards, their new phones, their designer clothes. What? I'm walking about in the poor gullies, £7 out of Primark.
Belfast, divided for decades along sectarian lines, is now fracturing in different ways. A sewing session at Annika in North Belfast, a community support group for migrant and asylum-seeking women. There's a lot of fear here too, but there's anger at violence that organisers believe was predictable and preventable.
I think we can't ignore just how significant segregating our communities are. Whenever we have a school system that is completely segregated, we have a housing system that is completely segregated, this becomes the water that people swim in. And so they hold close to this identity. And if part of your community identity is telling you, we are now targeting black and brown people, there is a lack of critical thinking for people to stop and interrogate that and wonder why that may be.
Early evening back in June. Inside this house are 5 asylum seekers, hiding upstairs, fearing for their lives.
We told each other that we were going to die on the same day. And we were desperate. The police were not helping us. and we almost gave up.
Finally, around midnight, police did come and evacuate them. After they left the house, the rioters moved in. This is what the men returned to.
It feels like they treated us like we are not human beings. They missed everything, or they urinated on the floor, and it's very sad. Yeah.
Back at the march in Portrush, they're keen to make clear their arguments are based on religion, not race.
We are a Christian country, and a Christian country we will always be.
I mean,
we will not be a Muslim or an Islamic state.
I mean, I have spoken to Christian people here who were burned out of their houses.
What's the proof that they are actually Christian?
So this young man,
they're claiming to be Christian.
This young man had told us that he had been so grateful for the response from the people in his local church.
Yep.
I suppose the problem is when people go burning people out of their houses, they don't know who they are. They went looking for black and brown people. Is that right?
No, it's not right, because there's brown Christians, there's black Christians.
But he
So
is a brown black Christian who's been burnt out of his house.
Yeah, but what is his proof that he actually is a Christian? Where did he come from? Look at his history.
They didn't
the
look
people
for,
here from here. We
when
are Christian. We were born here. We were reared
When
here.
the
We are
masked men
Christian.
came to his house, they didn't look for proof of anything.
Yeah, because they probably know. They think people aren't just going to go to somewhere and do it off the top of their head. They're going to go and they're going to do the things. They're not going to do it without facts.
You know, there's a grievance culture, there's a sense of nothing's right.
Although scores of peace walls still divide the city, sectarian violence has declined since the Good Friday Agreement. But race-related crimes are at a record high. Those responsible are small in number, but driven and encouraged by outside agitators, the damage can be huge.
These people here are connected to global networks of racism. They're getting their social media, they're getting their arguments, they're getting their call to arms. And that adds to, especially amongst vulnerable young men, seeking status, which of course is also on the other side of the wall, where young men are seeking status by taking on the police. So you've got this history of you stand up, you take on the state, you take on the other. And why wouldn't that filter down to a different generation, even though ironically you stop the type of violence that at one time was common?
Northern Ireland's politicians eventually found a way to forge a fragile peace between two communities despite years of bitter conflict. This is the third summer of rioting targeted at immigrants. Can they bring this violence to an end before it too becomes entrenched?
Jackie Long with that special report. And in a statement, the Police Service of Northern Ireland told us, "We reject claims that our response was anything other than appropriate. Our officers worked under incredibly challenging conditions to calm disorder, protect lives and restore calm. Members of loyalist paramilitary groups were present at some disorder and were involved in directing the violence at a number of locations. After the first night of disorders, some paramilitary groups tried to dissuade members from becoming involved in further disorder, whilst others did not. We remain determined to bring as many of the people involved in the disorder to justice as possible."